What up, everybody? Let me get my microphone over here. It's Chris Roscoe with Operation Walkshow. I'm going to be talking about the difference between worthiness, deserving, and worth, and whether or not any of those things even exist. Because I think a couple of them do, but one of them definitely doesn't. And one of them is a really harmful topic to even think about at all. And I don't think a lot of us... I don't know. I've never heard anybody say that before. And I think I just realized it yesterday that deservingness in particular, I think, is a harmful idea in general, whether it be undeservingness or deservingness at all. I don't think either one of those are good. But worthiness does actually exist, but that is distinct from worth by levels of criteria. And I'm going to talk about what all that means. So basically, I want to start off by saying that the reason a lot of us get into this conversation of worthiness and deserving and all these sorts of things is because maybe we have trauma around guilt or shame or something like that that has us feeling undeserving. And so a lot of times we fall into this trap of thinking that the way to get out of feeling like you don't deserve something is to tell yourself that you do deserve the thing. Which makes a lot of sense, right? Because if you think, oh, I'm not deserving of this thing, then I want to become somebody who is deserving of the thing. But the thing about that is I think the concept of deserving is entirely fucking bankrupt. I don't think there's any value in it whatsoever. And so I think instead, and there's actually this really good quote from Uncle Iroh from The Last Airbender. If anybody's ever watched that show, if you haven't, I highly recommend watching it. Uncle Iroh is the best character in almost the history of all fiction. And he has this thing about that pride isn't the antidote to shame. Humility is the antidote to shame. And so I think that speaks to this because when we're talking about deservingness to me feels so closely related to entitlement that it makes it feel really icky to me. Because entitlement, like when people feel entitled to something, they don't feel like they have to work for it. They don't feel like they have to be worthy of it. They feel like it should just come to them because they're deserving of it. And a lot of times this can be the bypass of feeling like you don't deserve something. Where for me, when I integrated the part of me that didn't feel like I deserved something, the whole concept of deservingness disappeared. It's not like I suddenly felt like I deserved things. It's that I realized that the idea of deservingness doesn't exist. At least from a moralistic perspective, it doesn't exist. And that thinking that I was deserving of things actually felt really disgusting to me. But what does feel real to me is worthiness, which is distinct from worth, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But worthiness to me is real. Worthiness is when I feel like I meet the criteria to allow me to have this thing that I'm wanting. Like love, for instance. I love my girlfriend more than almost anything. I love her so much. And if I wasn't the type of person that loved myself and trusted myself to be good to her and take care of her and be kind to her and listen to her and really be there for her, I wouldn't feel worthy of a woman like her because I'd know that I wasn't. Because she deserves somebody who's going to make her feel special and take care of her and love her and satisfy her and learn more about her all the time. She deserves to be, I said deserve. See, I still got it a little bit. But she is worthy of that because she can give that to me. And so if I see that somebody is worthy of that kind of love and that kind of admiration and that kind of care, and I know that I'm not capable of it, that's not going to feel very good. I'm going to know that. And then I won't feel worthy of this person's love. And then maybe that could cause a lot of problems. But that's different than deserving. You know, like I never deserve somebody's love. I may be worthy of it, but I never deserve it. I'm never entitled to anybody's love. I may be worthy of it, but whether or not they decide to give it to me is entirely up to them. I never fucking deserve it. And just like when it comes to success, I was thinking, the reason I'm even making this video is because I was thinking last night about success, about how much money I want to make and how the impact that I want to have and how many people I want to know about me and my work and all this sorts of stuff. And I was like, okay, the version of me right now, if I were to blow up even bigger and suddenly have a lot of eyes on me, I wouldn't feel worthy of that, and I'd feel like kind of squirmy out of it because it's like I don't feel like I'm necessarily embodying and representing the absolute best version of myself that I can imagine, and that is really in alignment with my true highest values. I feel like I'm about 87% of the way, but that little last remaining 10 to 12% irks at me. And so I know that if there was going to be more eyes on me, that I'd be like, fuck, I'm not representing my values and my ideas and my beliefs and my purpose as well as I could. And so that kind of irks at me a little bit. And so for me, the thing was like, okay, what version of myself would I have to be in order to feel really good about having the kind of success and the kind of money that I want to have? And I was like, okay, it's the me that embodies and moves from and speaks from and lives from my highest values. Not just my values that are important to me and that matter to me and make my life work, but my highest values, like the highest version of me that I can imagine. That's the version of me that I will feel good about having a lot of eyes on. That's the version of me that I will feel good about making the kind of money that I can dream of making. That's the version of me that if I were to get everything I wanted, because I'm so in alignment with myself and the highest, best version of myself that I can imagine, I would feel worthy of it. I wouldn't feel like I got it by some unfair means or something like that. But again, it's distinct from worthiness, or distinct from deservingness, because even if I'm a great person, I never deserve anything. There's only what I create. I am worthy of whatever I can create. And if I'm not in alignment with the thing mentally, emotionally, or energetically, then I can't really create it, and therefore I'm not worthy of it. But it has nothing to do with morals, ethics, or deserving. I hope I'm making this distinction really clear. Now, the last little piece that I want to talk about is worth, because I've been using the word worthiness a lot, and that has the word worth in it. And so worthiness is distinct from your inherent worth as a person, right? Because if the criteria for success is like you need to be a person that you feel really good about, having the eyes on you and the money and the success and the notoriety and all those sorts of things, you need to feel an integrity with yourself to meet the criteria for success and to meet the criteria for having like the best loving relationship you can possibly imagine. You need to be able to contribute to these things and be embodied in a way that can manage them in order to be worthy of it. But the baseline criteria for like your worth as a human is just existing. Like as long as you exist, your worldview is valid. You deserve love. You deserve a chance to make your life better, and you deserve a chance to reach for something that would give you meaning and make you satisfied and help you thrive and all those things. So it's a matter of degree. Like worthiness of success is like you have to meet certain criteria to be worthy of that. You have to meet certain criteria to be worthy of like your own self-respect and confidence. And you have to meet certain criteria to be worthy of like the best romantic partnership you can possibly imagine. But the criteria that you have to meet for like dignity and validity and for you to be valid as a human being, is just for you to exist. That's the only criteria you need to meet. Nothing beyond that needs to be met for dignity. But also it is important to distinguish that like respect is earned. Like there is criteria for respecting yourself. If you constantly see yourself lying and acting out of integrity and just being kind of shitty, then like you're not going to have your own self-respect. There is criteria to be worthy of your own self-respect. That is not the same as dignity. Dignity and inherent validity are just like you're a human being. So you have dignity because you're a human being. Your worldview is valid because it exists. Like these aren't up for debate. But your own self-respect, like that has to be earned. And then all these other things have to be earned as well. So worthiness exists, deservingness doesn't. And the spectrum of worth and worthiness is a spectrum and a continuum with varying degrees. And the degrees necessary for validity and dignity are just that you exist. So this is the third time recording this video. I think this is the clearest I've explained it so far. I hope this is valuable to you. I hope you get something out of this. I hope you enjoy it. If you have any other questions or topics you'd like me to cover, let me know. And I'd be happy to do it. I love doing these videos, and I'm excited I'm doing it a little bit more often than I have over the last few years. So thanks for being here. I love you, and I'll see you next time.